guys, welcome back. We're going to do a video today that probably should have been the first video on my channel, but you know, sometimes I don't do things in a logical way. I'm a little bit chaotic, so we're going to do it today. This is going to be the Booktube Newbie Tag video, and hopefully this will help you get to know me and my reading taste a little bit better, and hopefully not bore you to tears. So let's get into it. I have written down all of the questions from the original tag, and then I guess there was like an additional set of questions, and then I added a few more just to get to 25 because I felt like that was a good round number. So, number 1, why did you start this channel? I think that I mostly started the channel because I felt like my Facebook friends were probably getting annoyed with me posting about books all of the time. And I felt like I wanted to have a place where I could talk about books and I would be with a community of other people that loved books just as much as I do. So it just felt natural to start a booktube channel for me, because I was already posting, you know, constantly about the books I was reading on Facebook. So what are some fun and unique things you can bring to booktube? I think that by everybody being themselves, you're going to be unique. I think even people that are reading the same books, they're going to have different, you know, different takes on it, different experiences with the books. And that's one thing that I love about reading, is that, you know, a bunch of people can read the same book and have a different experience with it. And so I think just being myself, I can, you know, bring a new voice to the booktube community. Number 3 is, what are you most excited for about this channel? And I think it goes back to my number 1 and having a space where I can talk about books and people are actually excited to hear it, maybe. But really just being a part of a community. I think it's really fun to be able to have conversations about books. And you know, I do have that with certain friends, my sister, my mom, but it would be nice to be able to have those conversations with more people. So number 4 is, why do you love reading? And that's actually kind of a hard question. I don't really know. I guess escapism, probably. The world sucks sometimes, and it's fun to be able to immerse yourself in a new world and experience magic and dragons and, you know, all of the things that don't exist in our world. I think that's fun. And I think for a lot of people that read, it's the same as watching movies or TV. It's entertainment. You can fit a lot more detail into a book than you can into a movie or a TV show. And so for me, like, I read more than I watch TV, and that's just my form of entertainment. That's what I do. So I think that's why I love it. Number 5 is, what book or series got you into reading? Oh, I can't remember a time when I wasn't into reading, but I guess some of my favorite series from when I was a kid, Harry Potter, of course. I think that that's like a defining series of my generation. The Charlie Bone series I was really into as a kid. Goosebumps, Nancy Drew. The Chronicles of Narnia was really important to me. That was kind of like my gateway to like epic fantasy, I think, because I read The Hobbit not long after that. Of course, the Lord of the Rings. I read that series as a teenager. Number 6 is, what questions would you ask your favorite booktubers? So I think my first question would be, what are your best tips? Like, what things do I not know to ask about? Like, if you could give yourself advice starting out, what would you tell yourself? Yeah, I think that would be it. Number 7 is, what challenges do you think starting a booktube channel will be the hardest to overcome? 100% right now it's time. I'm in the last 9 weeks of school. Testing is coming up. I feel like once I'm not working, then time obviously won't be as much of an issue, but then still finding content might be the next thing, like finding fun ideas and then being able to make a video out of that. Like, I feel like maybe that would be the next biggest obstacle to overcome. Number 8 is, when did you start reading? And I guess I don't know an exact timeline, but I do know I was reading before I started kindergarten. I've read my entire life. From the very, very beginning, I've been a reader. Number 9 is, where do you read? And I read everywhere I go. My most common places to read are like on the couch or in the chair. Get on the end of one of those. I like to curl up with a blanket and, sit and read there. So I read in the bed sometimes, but probably not as much as I do sitting up, because I'll fall asleep. And it's not really as comfortable. Like, if I am in the bed reading, I prop myself up. I also will read outside. Like, I'll take a blanket outside if it's nice, and I'll sit and read while I watch my kids play. Or, I will take a book everywhere. I'll take a book to the restaurant. When we go out to eat, I will take a book with me to work and read during my lunch break. Like, I will read anywhere. The only place that I don't really read physically is in the car, because I get car sick. But I will listen to an audiobook in the car, 100%. So, number 10 is, what kind of books do you read? And I did talk about this in my other video. My main genre is fantasy, and that has been true since I was a kid. That is like my main jam. After that, I would say it's pretty even. Well, probably not. After that, I would say probably like mystery, thriller, horror are kind of equally enjoyable for me, depending on my mood. And then probably romance last, like contemporary romance. Fantasy romance, I kind of still tie those together. If it's got elements of fantasy, I'm still going to count it in my mind as a fantasy. Next is, what genres would you like to see talked about more? As long as people loved the books and are talking about what they really enjoy, I guess I don't really care what the genre is. I just want to see content that's more based off of what they really enjoy, more so than what's popular. And I'm only reading it because it's popular, and I know if I make content about this, people are going to watch it. Like, I guess I would say that. Next up, what do you feel is the best way to make friends on Booktube? I don't know. I guess the same way that it's best to make friends in real life is just to be yourself. I guess I'm not necessarily doing this looking for like new best friends. Of course, like one of my now very best friends, I met through YouTube, and that's like kind of crazy to me, but I feel like being myself means that if I start a friendship with somebody based off of that, then it's an actual true friendship, more so than if I was pretending to be something and then pretending to be friends with somebody because they liked a version of me that was not real, I guess. So, I don't know. I guess I would say be yourself, but then also, I don't know if I would recommend creating a booktube just to make friends. But I guess if it happens, if I do make friends from Booktube, that would be great. What will or do you enjoy most about making videos? I think probably editing them, kind of. But the next question, I'm going to go ahead and say this because I'm going to talk about the same thing, is what do you least look forward to when making a video? And I think that answer is probably also editing, because that and trying to set up for lighting. Like, I have my curtains open and everything, but I didn't bring an external light in here. And I feel like it's dark, especially because I think the sun has gone behind the clouds as I've sat here. But anyways, I'll get some lights. But other than that, editing the videos. And it's my favorite because I enjoy making this idea in my head about what I want it to look like and then trying to execute it. But then it's also my least favorite because sometimes I can't make it what I'm picturing in my head for whatever reason. So like, you know, maybe it's because I'm not 100% familiar with the program that I'm using, or maybe I have like limitations on what I am capable of doing, you know, compared to like what I'm seeing in my head. So I would say it's both of those things. Like, I love the editing process, but at the same time, sometimes it doesn't end up like I want it to, and it kind of gets frustrating sometimes. So that and lighting, it would be my least favorite. So next up is, what videos other than tags, TBRs, wrap-ups, reviews, and recommendations would you want to see more of? And I guess I would say, because that's a lot of the things that I watch, that's a lot of the things on Booktube, I guess just vlogs. Like, one of the things that I really love about Kayla's channel, Books and Lala, is that she has some of the most fun, creative ideas for vlogs. And she'll come up with this like one idea and then create like a whole TBR on it. And, you know, I really find her videos interesting. You know, some booktubers I kind of ebb and flow on like watching their content. And I'll be like, oh, I'm not really interested in that video right now. I'll save it for later, you know. And then I typically sometimes will catch up and watch a bunch of a creator's videos in a row, you know. So but Kayla is one that I consistently watch her videos like when they come out, and I think that's why, is like she makes her content very interesting. Her vlogs are usually unique and interesting ideas, and then of course like her personality too, right? I mean, she's just fun. It's like you feel like you're watching your BFF talk about books. So I guess I would say vlog type videos. What are some themes you want to see more or less of in books? And I can't think of anything. I don't think, I think this kind of goes along with the fact that I don't rate books the way that other people rate books, and I give a lot more 5 stars than a lot of other people give. I'm not one that's gonna say, oh, well, I'm so tired of seeing this in books. I'm so tired of seeing that, and this is so overdone. It's true that certain things are done a lot, but that to me doesn't mean that they can't still be done well and be enjoyable. And things become like classic for a reason, I think. So like the hero's journey, like that is a classic plot technique in a story arc, or, you know, whatever. And I feel like even though a lot of stories follow that plot line, that doesn't mean that it's bad, you know? So I think I would say the only thing that I would probably not want to read is when people are trying to force something that doesn't naturally flow with their story. Or, you know, you're trying to add something because it's, you know, something that you're supposed to talk about or supposed to include, but it doesn't like fit with the story and it feels like it's being forced. It's one thing for your book to like have that theme consistently throughout, but then, you know, sometimes people are just like you're not getting that vibe from it at all, if you know what I'm saying. And then all of a sudden it's like something happens or they say something and it's like, wow, that it pulled me out of the story because I wasn't getting that vibe, and then you just like threw that out there. Like, if you want that to be in there, make it part of the vibe, I guess. I don't know. What are some of your booktube goals? So I think right now my biggest thing is just like to keep consistently posting and to build up the community, like a community of readers, like followers that are going to be watching my videos and then coming down to the comments to talk to me about the books I'm reading or whatever. I think that would be my biggest goal. I mean, of course, obviously it would be amazing if eventually I could get monetized, like that, you know. I know a lot of people start for that reason, but I kind of didn't go into it with the like, oh, I'm doing this to make money. Like, I know, like, I'm a teacher. I'm not, that's a career you don't go into for the money. It's not worth it unless you actually enjoy teaching and you enjoy kids. So I understand going into something because you enjoy it, not because you want to be monetarily compensated for it. But I mean, eventually, if I could, that would be great. That would be, you know, another stream of income that I could support my family with. That would be, you know, end goal, I guess, maybe like a stretch goal. But my biggest goal right now is to just build up my channel, keep posting consistently, and then have it to where, like, I can say, hey, I'm, you know, kind of in a reading slump. What do you guys suggest? And then have like a bunch of people like suggesting really great books that maybe I've even never heard of. So I think that would be my biggest goal, is like just building my reading community here on Booktube. Next, what advice would you give a booktuber who just created their channel? I kind of just created my channel. I think now it was 21, 22 days ago, something like that. So like still in my first month, but I think that my biggest piece of advice would be just do it. Because like I created my channel, but then didn't post for a while. Like I didn't post anything for a long time. But then I finally just had to like do it, and I recorded that first video and posted it, even though I was like, this is not that good. Just post it and just run with it. It's just like anything else. You just have to jump in and do it. Just jump in and start. That's my advice. What are some qualities and traits that you look for when it comes to watching other booktubers? And I think it's just having your own personality, because the booktubers that I like am consistently watching their videos, they aren't all the same. And so it's not like one thing that makes me watch them. It's that I enjoy their unique personality. I enjoy what they're doing, and I enjoy their commentary on the books and things like that. And I think just being yourself and reading what you like and being passionate about that would make me watch your channel. So next up, what is a fun fact about you or a hobby besides reading and writing that people on Booktube might not know you have? I like how they included writing, because they assume that most of us that love to read books also want to write books. Accurate. I don't know. I crochet in typical ADHD fashion, like ebb and flow with my hobbies. Crochet has been pretty consistent most of my life. My mama taught me when I was probably, I don't know, 8 or 9 maybe. And, you know, from there, I just taught myself more and more past what she did. I really enjoy it. I think it's relaxing, and I like being able to create things. Favorite book to movie adaptation? Book to movie, favorite book to movie. I think I'm gonna have to go with the Lord of the Rings trilogy. Harry Potter is good. I love the Harry Potter movies. However, I feel like they did leave a lot out but I think The Lord of the Rings. And I think I'm going to switch my answer to The Hobbit, because the reason that I say that is, like, they added things to the Hobbit trilogy that were not in the book, but I wasn't mad about it. And, like, adding or taking away usually bothers me, but in that one it didn't. So maybe I'll just say, like, all of the Peter Jackson movies, like The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings, because really and truly, The Hobbit's the prequel to The Lord of the Rings, right? So I'm going to say those, The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings. Those are my favorite. I could watch those all the time. I love them. Favorite reading format, physical. However, the way that my life is now, I would not survive. I would not read half the books I read if it weren't for being able to listen to audiobooks. And that's why, like, I think people that diss audiobook listeners are so wrong, because first of all, it's very ableist. Some people maybe can't read physical books for whatever reason. Also, you know, audiobooks may be more accessible to them. They might not have space for physical books. And on my Libby app, yeah, I can check out an ebook or I can check out an audiobook. I can't always check out a physical book. You know, you've got to actually be able to go to the library to get a physical book. So I don't diss on audio or ebooks at all. If that's the way that you read and it's making it to where you actually read, I am all for that. I'm that way with my students as well. I don't care if they're listening to an audiobook, especially if I know they're not going to be able to pick up a chapter book and read through it. I have some struggling readers in my 4th grade classroom that are reading 4th and 5th grade chapter books. And they're listening to them, but they're able to pass those AR tests. My school does AR. And they can pass those tests, which means that their listening comprehension is on point. And so I definitely don't diss audiobook or ebook readers at all. My personal favorite is just, I'm a tactile person. I like having that book in my hand. But, you know, I read in all formats. How do you pick your next book? Well, currently I'm doing a lot of reading challenges for this year, and that's picking out my next book. But I am definitely a mood reader, and I'm going to pick up whatever book I kind of feel like. Last year, I read a bunch of Sanderson. That kind of helped me to pick out my next book, because I was reading through the Cosmere, and I had a certain reading order that I was following. But definitely I would say I'm a mood reader. If you could meet any author, living or dead, who would it be? Oh, that's a tough one. I guess I have to go with Tolkien. Because, I mean, how could you not? Like, the grandfather of fantasy? Absolutely. So, if I could pick a living and a dead author, I would pick him, and then also pick Brandon Sanderson. Because, like, I don't even have to talk to him. I just want to be able to, like, read his mind for, like, a few minutes, so I could, like, look in there and see, like, how do you come up with this stuff? Like, are you even a living human being, or are you a machine? You're a robot. You have to be a robot. Because, like, the speed that he writes these books, and then just the creativity, the uniqueness of, he has all of these worlds, and even though they're interconnected, even though they share, like, similar magic systems, they're still so unique. Even though, you know, it, like, runs off of the same thing, you know, like the concept of investiture. It's like, how did you come up with this? Like, so yeah, I would say those would probably be my two picks. And then finally, I kept this one for the end. What does your book collection look like? So you see a little bit of it here. I actually did a video where I walked you through all of the books on my shelf. You can find that here. And that is it for now. Some of the things I have coming up, we'll do a final walkthrough of March. in my reading journal. I will do an April spread in my reading journal. I'm really excited about that. I think I have a really good idea. I have to set up for my April reading challenge, which means I will have to set up a TBR. And then I'm going to do a book haul for January, February, and March. And you should be getting all of that in the next week or so. And I will see you then.